Hey everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to manifest within 24 hours. And I'm going to give you and share with you one technique to speed up this process of how to manifest within 24 hours. And I'm actually doing this technique today. So I'm going to share with you and give you this technique, what I'm doing and what really works. So lo and behold, let's get rocking and rolling. Now, before we really get into how to manifest within 24 hours, I'm going to share with you a couple things here. We're going to talk about a couple things here, why you're not manifesting. Okay, what's really going on? And this is kind of like going down a rabbit hole. Okay, there's many examples. There's many videos we can do on this, okay, to only talk about one or two things. But to the core of what's really happening, what's really going on, why you're not manifesting, why things don't seem to be working, is because it really comes down to a couple things. One is that you truly don't believe that you can get what you want. That's what it really comes down to. You really don't believe. You're second guessing yourself. It's being confident in yourself, of being confident that you can have what you want to have in your life. And another thing is that you deserve it. You really believe you can get it, but you kind of believe and you think that you deserve it. Okay, I deserve to have this lifestyle. I deserve to have the car I want. I deserve to drive my dream car. I deserve to live in the house of my dreams. You really believe to your core that you deserve it. Okay, so it really comes down to belief, and you believing that you deserve to have the lifestyle that you want, no matter what it is. It could be lifestyle. It could be given to charities. Okay, we all want different things. So it really comes down to belief. Okay. Now, the second thing that kind of messes up trying to manifest, okay, trying to live our dream life, okay, is really our thought process. Okay, most of the time, we all struggle with this. It's not some people, okay, everybody, including myself. We all struggle with this one, is we're not, how do I put this? We're pretty much thinking negative. We're thinking negative all through the day. And you might sit there and say, well, Chad, I'm not negative. I'm not a negative person. I'm a positive person. You know, Chad's is a positive person. Chad's easygoing. I get along with a lot of people. You know, I'm fairly positive. Okay. But once we start kind of digesting what's really going on, once we start paying attention to our thoughts, okay, what most people don't, what the hardest thing with law of attraction, the hardest thing of manifesting is you start paying attention of your thoughts. You start paying attention what you're thinking about all the time, what you're thinking about throughout the day. And what ends up happening is we're thinking negative throughout the day, okay? And negative, what I mean negative is a very broad term, okay? And what I mean by negative, sometimes we're negative. Sometimes we're talking about other people. When we go to work, we're talking about our husband or a significant other or a wife or whatnot. When we go home, we're talking about the people that we work with. You know what I mean? We're constantly complaining and griping. We're constantly talking about or thinking about what we don't like, what we don't want to do. Okay? These are our thoughts all throughout the day. Okay? In some way or another. That's what we're thinking. Sometimes we're thinking super negative. Sometimes we're thinking on a scarcity mindset. We're constantly thinking we can't afford it. We can't afford to do it. We have anxiety around it. Okay. Sometimes even with myself, you know, I have anxiety around stuff. And once this has just happened to me, by the way. Once I have to like touch my savings, okay, dude, I flip and almost have an anxiety attack. Well, if I have to start touching my savings or something, because I always put it in my mind that I'm not going to touch my savings, okay, because I'm saving for Thailand, I'm not going to touch it, okay, and once I have to touch it, dude, I almost have a meltdown. I mean, not like a verbal meltdown or angry meltdown, but just an anxiety meltdown, like just almost like just a whole form of worry and anxiety comes over me, okay. And this is all just from like overthinking, overanalyzing, and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by negative, okay? It doesn't really mean that you're really a negative person, but our thought process are negative. We're always thinking about what we don't like, what we don't want to happen, what we don't want to do. We're talking about other people. We're jealous of other people. We're jealous of people that have what we want, okay? Okay, you make sense? We despise other people. We see somebody driving a dream car on the freeway. Instead of blessing that person, we end up thinking negative about that person. We think like, well, what does he do for a living? Or he probably rips people off. You know what I mean? So we're kind of like a worse enemy when it comes to trying to think positive. So to kind of wrap this up, to keep this video kind of relatively short, I mean, those are the two main things that we're doing, okay? I mean, for one, it comes down to our belief, okay, our belief system, what we corely believe, our secret life, okay, what we secretly tell ourselves, okay? Our belief, do we believe that we can have what we want? And do we believe that we deserve it, okay? Now, the third thing is that wrapped in there is just our negative thought patterns. Okay, you'll be surprised once you start paying attention to our thoughts, paying attention to what you think. All through the day, probably 95% of the day, you're thinking about what you don't want. Okay, that leaves that little 5% in there that you might have a little routine that for you to kind of maybe have a gratitude pad or something grateful you think about, or something that reminds you of your goal, reminds you about what you want. But maybe that at best, maybe that takes up 5% of your thought process throughout the whole day. But the other 95% is wrapped around negativity. Okay, that's why you're not getting what you want. Okay, that's what slows down you manifesting your desires, manifesting your dreams into your life, manifesting what you want into your life. Because you kind of have it reversed, okay? That's really what's going on. Now, now getting back to the topic of this video, how to manifest within 24 hours, okay? Now with that, it's kind of a tricky little title, okay? We don't really know how long the manifesting process takes, okay? That's one thing we have to truly let go of. Okay, I don't know how long it's going to take because that's not my concern. My concern is knowing what I want. Okay, once I know what I want, me controlling the how it's going to come to me isn't my concern. I need to let that go. Okay, I need to let that go, give that to the universe, give that to God, whatever your spirituality is, whatever you want to say. Okay, we're all different in that. Okay, but you have to let it go. You have to stop controlling the how. Now with that, we don't know the gestation period, okay, of our goals, of our wants and desires. There's certain things that come to us very, very quickly, and there's certain things that take a little bit of time. So that's what I mean by a gestation period. We don't know. Now, if we do things properly and we truly just believe to the core of us, and we truly kind of change our thought process, things will manifest pretty quickly into our lives. Okay, but we just don't know the gestation period. Now, let me give you a couple examples. Let's say you're in high school right now. Okay, and I'll give a few examples here that kind of relate to several people. But let's say you're in high school right now. Okay, you know you're going to graduate high school. You know you're going to get your diploma. But let's say you're a sophomore. You got 2 more years. Well, your 2 years are your gestation period. Okay, you're confident, hey, I'm going to graduate, but it's going to happen in 2 years. That's your gestation period. But you're confident that you know it's going to happen. Let's say you go to college. It's the same thing. You know you're going to graduate. You know you're going to get your degree. But it's going to take 3 or 4 years for that to happen. That's your gestation period. Now, in these examples, we kind of know the how. We know how to do it, okay? But with other goals, with other things that we set, let's say I want my dream car, for example. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing if I want to graduate from high school. I want to graduate from college. I want to graduate and get my master's degree or my PhD. It's the same thing. But what happens is one, we don't know that gestation period. And what's harder in this example is that there's no timeline. There's no timeline like a degree. Like a degree, we know kind of what we have to do. We can control the how a little bit. We might be able to speed it up a little bit if I take classes in the summer or whatnot, but it might shrink that goal down a little bit. But we can kind of see, we know exactly what we got to do to get this goal over here. Okay, we can see the gestation period. We can see our progress. Okay, but in reality, with different types of goals, okay, like manifesting. Okay, like if I want my dream car, well, I can't see that gestation period. I can't see the progress. I just have to totally believe that I deserve my dream car and let it go and let it come to me. Okay, but we don't know. It could happen in 24 hours. It could happen in a month. It might take a year. Okay, but my position in it is I have to know what I want, believe and deserve, and believe I can get it and I deserve it. Okay, stop the negative thinking process as best as I can, and it will manifest quicker to me. Okay, but the biggest thing in this is that, well, I just don't know the gestation period. So I truly just have to let go of the how, let go of the control. Okay, that's how most goals work. You know, that's how most things work. When we want something, it's basically the progress is invisible to us. We don't see things like my first couple examples about high school and college. Okay, we can see the progress in that. Okay, that's what keeps us motivated, because we can see the progress. But in other goals, we don't see the progress. Everything is invisible. We don't see how close it is to us. Okay, if we could see how close it is to us, we would hang in there. Most of us would not give up. Trust me. We could see, I mean, your goal could be this close to you. Okay, but you throw in a towel and you give up. Okay, now let's kind of wrap this around to the technique what I'm going to give you, what I'm doing right now. Okay, how to manifest in 24 hours. This is what I want you to do. And this is what I'm doing today. You might hear the beeper go off on my iMac. So what I did was I took my phone, and I'm filming off the phone that I set the timer to. This is an older iPhone. Then I have my iMac. So what I did was I took my phone, and I didn't set an alarm. I actually set a reminder. So if you have an iPhone, you have an app, you have a reminder app. So you can go inside your reminder app and set a reminder, okay? So like lots of times people do it, they have parties to go to, they got birthday parties to go to, maybe they use it for work, set different deadlines. So that's what I did. So I set a reminder, and I set a reminder for every single hour of today. So every single hour, my phone's going to chirp, my iMac's going to chirp, and that lets me know of this exercise I'm going to give you. So what I want you to do for every single hour, I want you to set on your phone or set on your computer if you're at work, set a reminder that goes off every single hour. And every single hour, this only takes a minute or two, sometimes 30 seconds. So this isn't a long routine. I want you to grab a notepad and write down what you want. Simple as that, okay? I want you to do that every single hour. Now, the combination I kind of do it is I write down 3, 4, 5 things I want, and then I move on. The next hour, it goes off. Now, sometimes I'll write my intention, okay? I'll write down like one thing that I want, maybe like a gratitude intention, like thank you that I have blah, 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 blah. Thank you that I have boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? You can do this in your mind too. Now, I write because I'm home today. It's easy for me to do. But you can also do this out loud. If you're at work or whatever, and you can't really grab a notepad, a pen all the time, you can actually do this out loud in your head. So when your reminder goes off every single hour, you can actually just stop and think about, what do you want? Okay, you can repeat your intention that you set for yourself. Okay, but I want you to do this every single hour. And I'll give you some examples, but I want you to do this every single hour because the reason why this is so powerful is because all through the day, we're constantly thinking about what's wrong. We're constantly thinking about what we don't want. We're constantly thinking about what we don't want to do. And that's the dominant thoughts that we have in our mind. So what this does, it kind of, as we start kind of sinking into negativity a little bit, you know, it's been about an hour, your phone will chirp and it will remind you about what you want. And you repeat 3, 4, 5 things that you want. Okay. The next hour comes and you repeat an intention that you want. An intention maybe you wrote out. The next hour does it. You just keep on repeating the process hour after hour. Okay. And you do this, okay, until it gets ingrained in you, until it starts a habit in you that you're constantly focusing on what you want. Okay. And that's the kind of law of attraction, very simplified. Okay. I heard Rhonda Burns say this in one of her interviews, and she said, you know what, with law of attraction, and you want to know the basics of law of attraction, is this: if you would only think about what you want to do all through the day, you would have exactly what you want. But we stand in the way because we're constantly thinking negative. We're constantly thinking about what we don't want. But the simplified version is, if you only think about what you want all the time, and that's really your truly dominant thoughts, everything will come to you that you want. It would be so easy. And this kind of sets a habit. So what we want to do is create a habit of you to kind of break that negative cycle. And we have all this technology. Everybody has an iPhone. Okay, not everybody has an iPhone. Maybe you have a Samsung or whatever. But everybody has the technology. Everyone goes out and buys a new phone. So you have a reminder app on your phone. Set a reminder. Set it for repeat for every hour. And it will chirp every single hour. It will chirp. And that's your reminder to either write down what you want or repeat it to yourself. But every single hour, you do that throughout the whole day. And you do it until you get in a habit of thinking. Your dominant thoughts are, what do I want? What do I want to do? Okay. What's my intention? What are my desires? And it changes your frame. It changes your thinking process. And it puts you in a different state for that time. Now, once you start kind of getting out of the mood, getting out of that state, your mind wants to go in the gutter again, you know, your phone's going to chirp again. It's going to remind you, what do you want? And it changes that pattern. Now, I'm going to give you an example, kind of what I do and kind of what I say. This is a real example. Okay, when my phone chirps, I'm going to grab a pad and I write down what I want. And I write down 3, 4, 5 things I want. Okay, now this is what I want. I write down, I want to work remotely. I want to go back to Thailand for 1 year on a visa. I want to have $300,000 in my checking account. Okay, for Thailand. Okay, I want to pay off my mom's car loan. Okay, I want to buy a motorcycle when I'm in Thailand. I did buy a motorbike when I was in Thailand, but I want to buy a motorcycle in Thailand when I go back to Thailand. I actually have a motorcycle. Those are a few things that I want. Okay. Now, I'll write those down. Now, you hear that when I was talking, my phone chirped. You might have heard a chirp off of my iMac. That was actually the hour of me doing this. Okay, now another thing I do is in that hour, I might write an intention, okay? Rather than writing down what I want, I might have an intention I write, or I might have an intention and I say. This is an example of an intention. I might say, thank you, Father, that I have $300,000 in my checking account to go to Thailand. Thank you that I paid off my mom's car loan. That's an intention. Okay. And I'm wording it in a way of gratitude. I'm wording it in a way that it already occurred. It already happened. Okay. But I'm doing this every single hour. And it doesn't take a long time. It sounds like a long time explaining it in this video, but this is just literally just 30 seconds, 45 seconds of your time every single hour. And even if you get super lazy with this, even if your phone chirps and you just think about it, you're headed in the right direction. Okay, because it's about shifting your thoughts into what you want to do, what you desire versus what you don't like, what you don't want. Okay, this is what we're doing in this exercise. So hopefully this helps everybody. Comment below and let me know if you've done this. Let me know how it's working for you, what type of results you're getting, and I will see you in the next video.